Hi everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the drawing that we will be completing in today's video, this cute milk and cookies kind of like kawaii character drawing. So we use very simple techniques, but lots of different like guides and stuff to help us get the shapes that we want. So a really good one for beginners and just really fun and easy to complete. So if you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials, so if that is something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra tutorials over on Patreon, so I have that linked in the description below if you'd like to check that out. I offer lots of fun exclusive tutorials over there. But before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the color palette. I have it linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just download the file to your iPad and then double tap it or click on it and click open in Procreate. And it will automatically pop the color palette into Procreate so that you can use the same colors as you follow along with the drawing today. All the brushes that we use are standard Procreate brushes. We mainly just use the monoline brush and then the soft brush at the end for our shadows. I will also post the canvas dimensions, color profile, and layers needed on the screen and in the description below so that you can use those to set up your canvas. So take a minute to get everything ready and then come back and we'll get started. Okay, this is the color palette that we'll be working with today, so let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing that we will do is set our background color, so to do that we will go to our layer menu, click on this background color layer and set it to the first color on the first row of the color palette, or you can mess around with your own background colors. Lots of different colors would work for this if you have a specific color in mind, like a creamy color or more of a bluish purplish color, kind of whatever works. I messed around with a few, but I decided on this one. And then if you do use a different background color, these next three colors are our shadow colors for the ground, and they're just kind of like a grayer version of our background color. So I have like, so it's right here is my background color, and then if I tap this next one, it kind of goes more towards the gray side, pretty light, still on the grayer side, kind of in the middle, and then still on the grayer side, kind of a deeper color. So again, our first one will be our background color, the next three will be our shadow colors, but just saying that, if you use a different background color, you'll need different shadow colors probably to go along with it, but just pick a grayer version, 3 different levels of your background color to use for your shadow colors later on. Okay, then we'll be on layer 1. Let's first kind of draw the ground that they're going to be on. So on layer 1 here, I am going to grab just a black color, third one on the bottom row works. Let's grab our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab and set our brush size to whatever. I'm going to be at 50%. We're not going to keep this. This is just going to be kind of one of our guides. So I'll just go all the way across, starting on the outside of my canvas about a third of the way up. Hold it down until it turns perfectly straight, and then touch your finger on the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. Okay, go ahead and click the line button if you want to move it around at all. I might move it a little closer to the bottom, so maybe like a quarter of the way up our canvas is good. So maybe about right there. Okay, let's go to our layer menu. Let's add another new layer. And now we will start drawing our Oreo. So let's first turn on Symmetry again as a guide. So under our gear icon, under Canvas, click to turn on the drawing guide, and then click Edit Drawing Guide. Set it to Symmetry, and just leave the vertical line. If you need to switch it to vertical under Options, go ahead and do so. And then click Done. On our layer menu, this layer probably says assisted now, but let's turn that off. So click on this layer and turn off drawing assist. Let's grab our first Oreo color, the first one on the second row, same monoline brush at 50%. And I'm just going to draw our circle on the right side here. So just a good circle shape, hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth. Touch your finger on the screen to make a perfect circle. We want a little bit of room around it for like the depth of our Oreo, so the cream and the back piece, but maybe about a size like this is good. It doesn't have to be touching your line right now. Mine just ended up touching it. And then I'm just a little ways away from the symmetry line. But if you need to, you can click the circle button at the top. And if you need to resize it, just make sure to touch in between 2 of the blue dots. If you touch on one, it'll stretch it out into an ellipse. But if you touch in between them, it'll let you resize it. So I'm going to be just right next to the symmetry line here, right on my black line at the bottom, with a little bit of room on the right side. So about like this, and then I will go to fill it in. Get a nice good fill there, so I'm leaving my pen on the screen and dragging my threshold up to like 20 so it fills in all those gaps. Okay, That was just for sizing, so now our glass of milk can go on the left side there. But now we can do the rest of our Oreo. So now we're going to make all the details on the front of it, and then we'll make the cream and the back side and the face and everything. So let's go ahead and go to our layer menu, add a new layer right above this. Okay, we are going to turn on, not radial symmetry, but we're going to turn on like a perspective, which is going to give us perfectly like radial lines around our Oreo. So under the gear icon, under canvas, the drawing guide's on, we'll just click edit drawing guide. Click perspective and turn on assisted drawing. And then it's going to have you like tap to create a vanishing point. So I'm just going to tap right in the middle of my circle. If you zoom in or out, this other circle stays the same size. So I'm going to zoom out until it's like about the size of my outer Oreo so that I can center it better. So then I can really just center it here as best as you can. It does not have to be perfect, but get it as close as you can to being centered in that circle. And then again, make sure assisted drawings turn on and then click done. Okay, and before we get started, let's actually draw another guide. So let's add another new layer right underneath the one that we're on. So above our previous circle layer, we can use the same color, same monoline brush at 50%. And let's just draw another perfect circle inside. So draw a circle, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen. Set it a good size like this, just leaving a little bit of edge all the way around, and then we'll center it now with the other one. So grab it with your arrow tool. If you need to resize it on uniform, go ahead and do so. But again, I just want a good edge all the way around. And then turn on snapping in the bottom left, and then snap it to the center of your other circle. So you'll see these two blue lines where it centers it, like so. Okay, so this is the guide. We're going to touch this line each time all the way around. So back to our new layer with drawing assist turned on. Same color, same brush. Let's up our size to 70%. And all the way around, I'm going to start on one of these lines just a little bit outside of our circle, like just on the very edge of it, so it just barely pokes out. And then I'm going to draw till I hit this line each time. That way they stay pretty even. So I'm just touching it. I'm not like overlapping it too much. So just as soon as like the circular part touches that line or comes close to it, I stop. So it won't be, they don't all have to be completely perfect, but this will help get us pretty close to as perfect as we can all the way around. And then we will get rid of that line. But let's go all the way around with this. It's a little bit of a tedious process, but this was the best way that I could do it so that it's nice and even. We could have turned on like radial symmetry, but then you have to draw the line each time and hold it. You have to hold the line down each time, which is kind of annoying. So you have to draw less of them, but it's just harder, I feel like, to get them all evenly spaced and stuff and in the right direction, because then you have to kind of have to decide, where to bring them into the circle. So this, I felt like, was the best option. But we will end up switching to radial symmetry for our next items. And look at that, we're all the way back at the beginning. So I'm just going to kind of reposition myself here. And now we can go ahead and start doing the other little details inside. So to do that, we'll go to our layer menu. We'll add a new layer above this one. Click on it and turn on drawing assist. But now we're going to switch to symmetry again. So back to our gear icon under canvas, click to edit the drawing guide, switch it back to symmetry, and this time under options, select radial symmetry. And then click done. Okay, now we need to move everything into the center here. So we could either move the radial symmetry and try to get it exactly in the center of this, or we can just move this stuff to the center. So we're going to do that instead. So under our layer menu, just grab our last three layers So our our edge, our circle, and our main circle. So select one, slide right on the other two, grab it with our arrow tool. Again, snapping turn on in the bottom left, and we'll snap it to the center. So where we see our two yellow lines right here, we're in the direct center. We'll be on our new layer that says assisted at the top, same color, same brush. So each pie section here is like, symmetrical with each other. So we just need to draw in one of them really to then mirror itself. So I'm going to start on the very top middle line here. And I am going to make a dot right on it, right inside this other kind of guide circle that we drew. Just make a dot there. I will make a dot on the next one as well. So that kind of starts that. And then we're going to just do a little pattern inside of like a line, a dot, and a line. So that we have that all the way around. Very simple. Okay, then inside of that, we're going to do a couple triangles. So let's do our first triangle. So it's going to be where each dot is, we'll start our triangle. So down from this top middle dot, I'm going to start just a little ways down. I'm going to go out from my symmetry line a little bit and draw straight across to the middle. Hold that down if you wish. Then from that point, I'll draw down to the middle to create a triangle shape. Hold that down as well if you wish. Then I'm going to go over and do the same thing on the next like line one. So that symmetry is turned on there. Draw a line, draw another line to create another triangle. Then we'll do one on this middle dot. So I'm just going to pick one of the middle dots, do the same thing, but now we have to do the whole line. So I'm going to do the whole line across, hold it down, kind of set it there, try to make it roughly the same size as the other ones. Make one other line and then make one other line to get like another similar kind of triangular piece. They don't have to be perfect, but just something kind of like this. Okay, then below that, I'll make a dot under each one. Like so. And then we want to have room for our face. So if you have enough room to make another triangle, go ahead and do so. If not, I might just make another line under each one. So I'll do like a line there, a line there, and a line there, just to kind of complete our pattern. So just something like that is probably good. I don't have enough room for another triangle without not having enough room for my face. So I want plenty of room for my face there. You could even just stop it at the dots if you want to, if you still don't feel like you have enough room there. So either a line or just leaving it at the dots is fine. I think I might just leave mine at the dots. I think that is plenty of design work there. So once you're happy with that, we are done with that part of our Oreo. So we are going to go to our layer menu. Let's first delete our kind of guide circle here. So it should be the one right above our purple circle. So not your line edges and not the fancy design we just did, but the plain circle. Delete that layer. And this is what we are left with. Okay, then next we need a shadow around our design pieces. So let's snap our two design pieces together. So those layers, snap them together. To make the shadow, we're going to do a Gaussian blur behind them in a darker color. So slide to the left on this layer and hit duplicate. Grab the bottom one. And actually, instead of a darker color, we're just going to switch this to a multiply layer. So on the N here, click on that and then drag this layer style all the way to the top to multiply. Okay, then wand icon, Gaussian blur, and we're going to drag this up just a little bit to get a little shadow around it to maybe 5%. Okay, now we don't want this shadow like on the edges and stuff here, so we are going to clip it to our main Oreo shape, the circle there. So on our layer menu, click on this layer and turn it to a clipping mask. So it just clips to that circle shape there and there's nothing leaking outside of it. Awesome, that is looking great. Now let's go ahead and make our face. So on our layer menu, let's add a layer to the very top of our layers. Let's see, let's click on it and turn on Drawing Assist. We're going to leave our Oreo here for now. We're going to use the just vertical symmetry to draw our eyes and our cheeks and our eyebrows. So under the gear icon, click to edit the drawing guide again. Under options for symmetry, click vertical and click done. Okay, new layer, says assisted. Let's grab our black color, the sixth one on the second row, same monoline brush at 70%. I'm going to zoom in here and just a little ways from my symmetry line, I'm going to make a little circle. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it a perfect circle, set a good size, pretty little. I want them pretty far apart too, so I'm going to click my circle button here and just drag them a little further apart, a little kind of closer to the bottom of this open space here. So something maybe like that. Fill them in if you need to. Okay, then let's do our cheeks. So let's switch our color to the pink color, the next one in line, 7th one on the 2nd row. And we'll do like a little oval on the bottom right of this right eye. Little oval there, hold it down. Kind of place it there. Click your ellipse button if you need to. Adjust the size. And again, I don't want it overlapping with any of my design, so I'm probably going to bring that in a little bit, like so. Okay, then we just need the eyebrows and the mouth. So let's do our eyebrows now because those will be symmetrical. So that's going to be in our 2nd color on the 2nd row. And I'm going to kind of similarly as our other ones, I'm going to make like a little triangle. So I'm going to do like a line here across the eye on the top, like slanted a little bit. And then I am going to make a little triangle with that. And that is our eyebrow. It won't have a shadow to it like the rest of our stuff because it's part of our face. Okay, then we will make the mouth. So layer menu, click on this layer, turn off drawing assist, grab our black color again. And same brush, let's maybe lower our size a bit to like 30%. And I'm just going to draw a little kind of crooked smiley mouth in between the two eyes. Like so, very simple. Maybe a little curvier. Okay, something like that. And then that is it for our Oreo face. Now, it is all on one layer, but if you want to make any adjustments, you can. So for example, I might move my eyebrows up a little so I can use my selection tool, which I have on freehand, color fills turned off. And I can like just select around the eyebrows all at once, click my arrow tool, and then I can move them straight up on my symmetry line, you know, snapped to the middle there like so to kind of space them out a little bit more. You can do the same thing like with the cheeks. You can move those around, move the eyes around, whatever you want to do to get that looking good. Okay, so now we want to add a shadow to this, and we're going to end up flattening it for our other back layer anyway. So as long as you're happy with the way everything looks, let's go ahead and flatten it now. So on our layer menu, let's snap all of these layers together onto one layer. Add a layer above it, click on it and set it to a clipping mask. This is where we'll make our shadow. Click the N and set it to multiply. We have our shadow color here, which is the 5th color on the 2nd row, same monoline brush at like 50%. And I am just going to turn my canvas a little so I can get a nice curve on the bottom. And I'm just going to start kind of like maybe a little under halfway through, and I'm just going to make a nice curved line across the bottom. And then I'm going to connect a shape so I can fill it in. So I'm going to drag from this side around the bottom to the other side where I started and fill that in there. And then feel free to make any other adjustments to it. But this is our shadow. It should be nice and curvy there. That looks great. Okay, now we can make the rest of the Oreo and move it around. So I'm going to go to my layer. I'm going to select both of these layers. So I have this one selected. I'll slide right on the other one, grab it with my arrow tool, and I'll move it back over where we started with it. So a little to the right of the symmetry line, right kind of on this black line here. Then on our layer menu, let's make a duplicate of our main cookie layer. Slide to left and hit duplicate. Grab the bottom one, click on it and turn on alpha lock. Grab the 4th color on the 2nd row, a little bit darker than our main base color of this one. And then go back to our layer menu and this one on the bottom with alpha lock turned on, click on it and click fill layer. You won't see it because it's beneath this one, but if we grab it with our arrow tool, slide it just to the right a ways, like so, keeping it in line. So you should see like 3 blue horizontal lines, keeping them in line together with our front one. But leave a good space there, and then we'll fill the middle in with cream. We can still move it around a little bit later too, but I'm going to start there with it. Okay, then let's go ahead and add a new layer to the very top. Let's grab our white color, 3rd one on the 2nd row. and we'll make our cream now. We're going to just put it on top for now so we can get the size right. So with our monoline brush, let's just make another circle around this guy. So good circle, about the same size, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, set a good size, and fill it in. And then we can resize it now. So grab it with our arrow tool and uniform. You can resize it if you need to, but I want it to be like about the same size as our front piece here, if not like a teeny bit smaller than it. So it's kind of like the inside of our cream. Doesn't have to be too specific or anything. Then let's go to our layer menu. Let's drag it in between our cookie layers right there. Grab it with our arrow tool and we'll just move it straight over, kind of lining it up with the rest of them like so. So however much of it you want to see, you can move them a little bit closer together. So I might grab this one, move it back in a little bit, and then I'll grab the other one, the back one, and move it in a little bit as well. So there's not quite as much of both of them showing. So something maybe more like that. So space those out nicely, and then that is it for our Oreo. So I'm going to go to my layer menu and I'm going to just put all these layers in a group. So that way if we need to move them around, we can do so all at once or resize it or anything. So I have one selected, I'll slide right on the other layers that make up our Oreo and click group. Okay. Next up is our glass. Our glass of milk is a lot easier, less detail and stuff, but just as cute. Maybe not so much though. I think the Oreo is probably the cutest, but anyway, to start our glass, let's just add a new layer on top of this group here. We are going to start with our bright white color. First one on the third row. It's the same white that we were just on, but I made this new group of colors down here that we'll use for the glass. So first one on the third row, same monoline brush, set our size to 70%. And I'm just going to go to the left side here and I'm just going to start over here. I don't think we'll use any symmetry or anything, so nothing too crazy. So I'm going to start a little ways from the top of the canvas here. And again, I just like to use this symmetry line as my guide. We're going to draw the top of the glass. It's going to be a very skinny horizontal oval. So I'm going to draw a nice horizontal oval. Hold it down, touch your finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal. If it snaps to a circle, that means you drew it too close to a circle and you need to draw it closer to an oval. This even is a little too tall for me, and I can't really do much with it here when it's too tall. So like, for example, I can click edit ellipse and I can try to smush these together, but then it kind of gets wobbly and then it's not horizontal anymore. I could also grab it with my arrow tool on freeform and downsize it that way, but then the lines get a little skinnier and we want those lines to be the correct thickness and stuff. So I am instead just going to redraw it. So again, we're just going to kind of make a guide and then we'll redraw it. So I'm going to do my oval again, just the way I did, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. Grab it with my arrow tool and we're going to set the size now. So I'm going to set it to freeform. I'm going to smush it from the top to the bottom a little bit. I want it to be pretty thin from top to bottom. Then I might even make it a little thinner on the side and just kind of place it here about a quarter of the way down the screen, centered on the left side here. So something maybe like this will be the top of it. I think that looks good. Let's go to our layer menu. Let's add a new layer, and this will be our real one now. So we're going to do the same. We're going to follow the nice same shape, but have it actually be in the thickness and stuff that we want. So I'm just going to start there. I'm going to slowly follow it around, hold it down, touch your finger to the screen, set roughly the same size, and that is good. We'll get rid of our previous one that was kind of our guide. Now we have just our nice, beautiful, nice thickness, all that good stuff, just like we wanted. Now to make the rest of the cup, we are going to make another oval on the bottom, a smaller one, and then connect them at the sides and start filling things in. So on our layer menu, let's just make a duplicate of this oval layer so that they're kind of the same ratio. So slide to the left and hit duplicate. Grab the bottom one. Grab it with our arrow tool on uniform, downsize it a good amount, and drag it down here towards the bottom where our black line is, kind of place it there, and then most importantly, we want to center it with our top one. So drag it around until you see this vertical blue line that shows that you're centered with the top. Again, I just kind of placed it on the black line there at the bottom. That looks good. The thickness of this one doesn't matter because it will all be filled in. But so now with our monoline brush, again, we're going to connect them on the sides. So we'll do a line on each side to connect this corner to this corner. So I'll start on the right side here, just drawing a nice good line, hold it down until it turns perfectly smooth, and then click the line button at the top to adjust it. And we'll just zoom in and make sure this all looks good so it meets up nicely there. Meets up nicely there. It can like overlap on the bottom here a little bit because we will fill in this inside bit, So just make sure the edge on the outside lines up nicely. Okay, back to our pen. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, edit line. Nice and smooth there. Okay. Okay, so now we just need to snap all of our shapes together so they're all on one layer. So essentially we have the bottom oval and the two lines on one layer and then the top oval on another. So let's snap those together on one layer. Slide to the left and hit duplicate. And then let's select the bottom one. We are going to fill in on the bottom one. We're going to fill in this middle part and the bottom part, but leave this top opening empty. So with our white color, fill that in and fill that in. Okay, on our layer menu, click the N on this layer and we'll drag this down a good ways to like 40%. And it looks funny with the lines behind it, but that is going to be the start of the outside of our cup. Okay, grab our top layer with just the lines now. Grab it with our arrow tool on uniform. Let's downsize it a good ways and then place it in the center here from left to right and then kind of leave a good space like all the way around it. So this is going to be like the thickness of our glass essentially. So I'm going to maybe, do it right about here. So maybe something about like this. Then let's first go to our layer menu, click on this layer and turn on alpha lock. We need to make this top oval slightly darker than the rest of it. So I'm going to grab the second color on the last row of the color palette and I am going to just color over this top oval. So I'm going to do the top part, that's easy. And then when we get to the sides here, just be careful that you don't go down this vertical side. So we just want to go kind of right around the oval there as close as you can and then do this whole front oval as well. And then again, when we get to the sides, be a little bit more careful not to go too far down on that vertical area, but something kind of like this. It's fine if you like overlap a teeny bit. It's not going to be that noticeable, but want to get as clean of a shape as we can. Okay, then on our layer menu, click on this layer, turn off alpha lock. This color that we're on now, this slightly grayish color, we'll drag and drop that into the middle top area. Then we'll grab our white color again, the first one on the last row, and drag that into this area and the bottom area. And that gives us our glass of milk. So now we just need like a shadow, some little kind of glary lines to make it look like glass, and then the face for it. So let's go ahead and start on the face. So let's add a new layer on our layer menu, click on it and turn on drawing assist. And now we're going to use symmetry again, but we're going to move our symmetry line over there so we don't have to move all of this. So with our gear icon under canvas, click to edit the drawing guide. And then with this blue dot, just kind of drag it over here until you're roughly in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as close as you can get it. And then click done. Let's grab our black color, third one on the last row. Be at about 70%. And let's again just draw his eyes. So I'm going to start pretty low on my glass of milk here and a little ways from a good ways from my symmetry line and draw a nice circle. Hold it down, touch my finger to the screen. Pretty small little eyeballs there. Kind of roughly similar to our other ones here. Okay, our mouth is going to be symmetrical. So right inside here, I'm just going to draw a straight line across the top and then kind of like a half moon shape across the bottom. So I'm just going to go in a little bit, hold it down, touch my finger to the screen to make it perfectly horizontal, and then kind of a curved line across the bottom to connect it there to make a little smile. Feel free to lower your brush size if that's not working, but that looks nice. Let's do our cheeks now as well. So grab our next color line, fourth one on the bottom row, and again, like a little oval kind of to the bottom right side of our eyeballs, or my right eyeball there. Fill that in. They're a little bigger than I would like. I might redo that. A little smaller. Okay, and then our eyebrows are going to be in this grayish color, second one on the last row. And I'm just going to make some really quick little lines up there. Little just kind of curvy, like comma lines for his eyebrows. Okay, and then that's it for our face. I might make the whole thing a little smaller, so I'll grab it with my arrow tool on uniform, just downsize it a little bit, recenter it on that blue line there. Something like that. Okay, now we need a shadow on our milk, so let's go to our layer menu. I'm just going to draw it right on my milk layer, so find the milk, the inner one that's filled in all the way, click on it and turn on alpha lock, and with our same gray color, same monoline brush at 70%, I'm just going to start maybe on the left side here, up a little higher, kind of curve towards the bottom, and fill in this like lower side to create a little shadow down there. And then for our glass lines, let's just add a new layer just right above the one that we were just on. Grab our white color, first one on the last row. Set our size to maybe 50% for our monoline brush. And we'll just go through and I'm just going to kind of make some little streaks through our glass. So you can just make some quick lines. You can hold them down if that's easier. Just anywhere in this like glassy area that we can kind of see. Might even like do some little dots like that, and then maybe even some back in this kind of empty space. Maybe a little like around the corner here. And then maybe that will be it for those lines. So it's just something kind of simple like so. Okay, then once that's done, that's it for our glass. So on our layer menu, I'm going to put all these in a group as well. So I'm going to select one, slide right on the others, and click group. And then I think I overall want everything to be a little lower. So I'm going to grab my black line at the bottom, grab it with my arrow tool. I'm going to move it straight down a little ways. Then I'll grab my Oreo group, move it down to hit that line. Move my milk group, so just select the top of it. Move that down to meet the line. Maybe where like the base of it is on the line. So like where the farthest edges are right here. So it'll overlap the line a little bit. And I kind of moved it a little closer to the center as well, but feel free to resize things too. I can make my glass maybe a little bit bigger, kind of whatever you want to do to make that all look nice. And then we will get rid of the line and add our shadows. So I'm going to get rid of the black line layer here. I do want this layer to be down here, so I'm just going to click on this and actually click clear. Then I'm going to click the N and set this layer to multiply. Okay. And then we'll use our shadow color. So the next three on the top row, second, third, and fourth in line. I am going to get rid of my symmetry line really quick. So gear icon, I'm just going to turn off the drawing guide. Okay, let's grab our second color on the top row. And for this, we are going to use the soft brush under the airbrushing category. Let's start for our lightest color at like maybe 7% or so. And underneath each of these, I'm just going to make a little shadow. So I'm just going to work kind of horizontally. So for my first like lighter color, I'll work out pretty far. So like far to the left and right, a little far in front. Same thing for the glass. So I'm going to go kind of like under the base of the glass and then in front of it a little bit as well. So something like that to start. Then we'll do our next color in line, third one on the top row. We'll maybe lower our brush size a little bit to like 5%. And we'll just stick closer to everything a little bit. So closer to like the main points of our shape where it would be like hitting that line. Same thing over here, kind of at the base of the glass. And then finally our darkest color on the top row, fourth one in line. And we can probably do 5%, but you can lower it more if you need to, maybe like 3 to 4%. And I'm just going to go really, really close and just really darken up the very like center of my shadow here. Like so. So just something kind of like that. For my glass, I'll do just like right around the base of it all. Okay, so just keep working on those until you like the way that they look. And then that is it for our drawing today. So I hope that you had fun. I hope that you liked the way that yours turned out. I hope that you maybe learned some new techniques with all of our different like symmetry and the perspective and all that good stuff. But otherwise, this was just a really cute, fun drawing to create. So I hope that you liked it. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more tutorials from me in the future. And if you would like to share your drawing on Instagram, I would love to see it. So go ahead and post it there and then tag me so that I can check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching.